What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of our Road to the GOAT series. Yeah, man, finally made it to the greatest of all time. Now let's see what this league is about. The Hall of Fame gave us a little bit of challenge, gave us a little bit of run for our money, but we finally made it to the GOAT League, and this is our first game, and I had to go with the Brooklyn Nets. I'm not playing around no more. This is a league where you kind of got to take stuff serious. You know, guys are going to try hard in this league. There's a lot more competition to go up against, so I think it'll be a bit easier, but who knows. So I'm going with the Brooklyn Nets. They're still in tier 3, and they have acquired Seth Curry and Andre Drummond. They were the main pieces in that trade. And of course, I mean, this is probably the best team in tier 3, considering you still have Kyrie Irving, who's still healthy. And then when Kevin Durant comes back, I don't know if 2K will bump them up to tier 2 or tier 1, but their record isn't that good. So this team could be the best team in the game for tier 3 when KD comes back, if 2K decides to leave them back in the game. So my opponent has gone with the Charlotte Hornets, and I think the Hornets might be a tier 2 team. I don't know, I'm not too sure. When I was scrolling around looking for a tier 3 team to play with, I didn't see them, so I'm assume that they're tier 2, and I know they're doing pretty well during the real life NBA season. So tier 2 or tier 1, it doesn't really matter to me, because when you have this Nets team, they can compete against tier 2 and even some tier 1 teams. So like I said, my opponent has the Charlotte Hornets. I played against them before, and it seems like everybody just wants to do work with LaMelo Ball. So immediately coming into the game, I switched the matchup. I put Seth Curry on LaMelo Ball just for a bit of defense. I could have put Bruce Brown on LaMelo, but I just wanted to see what Seth Curry could do. I didn't want to go too deep into the lineup to create that matchup for LaMelo Ball, and we could just play help defense if we need to. So the Nets, they definitely got better after that trade. They traded away James Harden. They picked up Andre Drummond and Seth Curry. I think I'm forgetting one person, but you know, this team, they're a pretty good team. You know, if they could stay healthy, man, they could definitely make the playoffs. Like, the East is very competitive, but I think when you have Kevin Durant and Joe Harris is still missing, Kyrie Irving, Seth Curry now, Andre Drummond, Blake Griffin, just naming all those guys, although some of them might be past their prime, this team should have the expectation of making the playoffs and even going to the conference finals. So that's my quick assessment on the Nets. Let me know what you guys think, how they would fare, but I really do think they should make the playoff and make a deep run. I'm pretty sure they're going to lose against my Miami Heat, but that's wait to be seen. That's waiting for that to be seen. So 14-8, my opponent just scored, now making the game 14-10, and that's the end of the first quarter. So as always, try and talk strategy during these videos. My game plan was, of course, let it come naturally. You know, I'm not going to try and force. I don't have James Harden anymore, so it's not like I can go 1-2 with Kyrie and James Harden. You know, I have to kind of run my offense or let the computer run the offense and see whatever plays they call. But we're definitely going to get shooters open, and like I said, whenever I get on a fast break opportunity, that's when I have to capitalize the most. And my opponent, his game plan was just basically this, just really trying to get underneath the basket and get those easy shots. As you see, he gets it down low to his center, Richards, and he makes the game 16-14. So two very different playing styles, and it led to a bit of a competitive match. You know, like for me, I don't know why it's so hard to stop my opponent from getting underneath the basket, no matter if I let the computer play the defense or if I'm playing defense. But it always seems like they always play like the perfect defense on me. But luckily for us, we get the offensive rebound, a rare sighting for an offensive rebound for us, and we were able to get it back up and in with Andre Drummond. So coming into this league, I know I need to have a very good center. Not a very good center, but a center who can at least match my opponent when it comes to scoring underneath the basket, and additionally grab rebounds like crazy. Because in this game, this year, in this league, I could tell it's going to come down to whoever grabs the most offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds. That's what typically in this league, I could tell early, that's what it's going to come down to, because you get multiple opportunities to score on offense. It's going to be hard, and it's kind of deteriorating to offense, to defense, to a team, in fact, to keep trying to have to get the defensive rebound, and your opponent just has a monster of a offensive rebounder, and he's just getting multiple opportunities. But in this game, that's why I picked the Nets. Andre Drummond is going to grab those boards for us, and he definitely did do that in this game. So at halftime, we're at 28 to 17, 14 points in the first two quarters for me, 10 points and 7 points respectively in the first and second quarter for him. And so now we're beginning the third quarter. But my opponent defense, it was very aggressive, man. Like I noticed that these guys, they're starting to go a lot more into the settings now and playing tight or smothered defense. And we're gonna see that in the next game here. This video has 2 games, so 2 very good games. But my opponent, this game, he was really pressing me with Kyrie Irving, trying to force me into the directions he wanted me to go. And for half of the game, it worked. It was kind of news that I seen, because no one really played that tight of defense and was so aggressive when I brought the ball up court. But you know, we always got to adjust, and you can see we're doing a good job of adjusting there. It's 32 to 19, but like I said, he gets underneath that basket, he's going to score, he's looking to shoot, and I just can't do nothing about it. So it's 32 to 21. We're in our offense. Seth Curry, that's why we need him, and that's why I picked the Nets. I need the ability to shoot as well. When we run these plays and the defense collapse, I need to have a shooter on the outside who I could trust. So my opponent back on offense in these nice Charlotte Hornets uniforms. When the Blazers wore them originally, like in 2006 or even way before that, but that's the first time I really started watching basketball and I seen these uniforms. I thought they were pretty ugly, but in 2K, this year 2K, they look pretty good. This might be some of the best uniforms in the game. So back to the game now, 42 to 25. You can see we're pulling away. Our defensive strategy and our offensive strategy is working. And the thing that I like about the Nets, they have guys who could play defense, and they have guys who have size, who could protect the paint and isn't going to get abused down low. So that's why I had to go with the Nets, and I would recommend them in tier 2 and tier 3. I know they have to get up to tier 2 at some point. I don't think tier 3 is doing them justice. Blake Griffin on the boards. Real offensive rebound for Blake Griffin, but he gets the offensive rebound there, and we were able to put it back up and in. So LaMelo had Seth Curry there. That's what my opponent wanted, but you know, he kind of switched up towards the end of the game. He seen that I was playing off ball when he called the pick and roll, and I was sagging with the screen defender, and so he started taking advantage of that, and you can see that he's kind of cut down the lead. It's 11-point lead now because he started expanding his range and shooting jump shots and shooting 3-point shots. He didn't really run any plays, and it may have hurt him in the long run, but in the fourth quarter, or I should say late stages of the third quarter and in the fourth quarter, that's when he ran a bit of a smaller lineup, so that way when he did run those pick and rolls, I would have to stick with the screener, because the screener now has the ability to shoot. Like, he may have had PJ Washington out there or Kelly Oubre, and he could easily just run a pick and fade. So now I have to adjust and stay with my guys, and it just comes down to my on-ball defense on LaMelo Ball or whoever is the ball handler. So on this possession here, Blake Griffin can't get the rebound, and like I said, it's going to come down to the offensive and defensive rebounding. I should just say rebounding in general. So he gets another opportunity, and that's PJ Washington. He greens that shot there, and now the game is 49 to 36. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty confident that this game is pretty much wrapped up and done, but it's still not done yet. You know, he's going to work with Montrezl Harrell. I don't know how he made that shot, and you can see his second half was pretty impressive. He shot 41% in the first half, but turned it around and shot 62%. So now I have to take advantage of that small lineup he ran with Andre Drummond. We can't be scared to abuse the paint down low. If someone's gonna do it to me, I gotta do it to him. So now he's trying to get back to the paint with LaMelo Ball. No 3 seconds in the key. I don't know 2K. It seems like 3 seconds is more like 8 seconds in this game. But fast break opportunity, Kyrie Irving, 3-pointer in transition. I got to pull that all day. Now the score is 54 to 40. He comes back down with PJ Washington and throws the ball down through the basket for 2 points. So a minute left. This game is pretty much wrapped up. I don't think this was a good matchup for my opponent. Like I said, the Nets, although they're tier 3, they really play like a tier 2 or tier 2 team, I would say. I can't really put them above in tier 1. They're probably on the fringe of being tier 1, but you know, it just depends on how you play with them and who you're going up against. So you have many different experiences, but I do like the roster of this team. I think they're pretty deep, they have size, but we'll see how they do in the regular season. So final score 56-44. Our first game in the greatest of all time comes as a victory, and we could only lose one game in this league. We could go 9-1 and we'll capture the trophy. So now, one tier 3 victory out of the way, and let's get on to the next game. Atlanta Hawks versus the historical Sixers team. I don't remember the exact year in this game, but this match was pretty short. I have another match coming up in this video, but my opponent, this is one of the issues when you pick historic teams. They don't really have the ability to shoot, so you could just kind of collapse on the paint and force your opponent to take tough 3-point shots because those guys can't really shoot. And that's what happened in this game, and my opponent ended up quitting. So we're rewarded with another tier 2 victory. So looking good so far. 2 games, 2 victories, and now let's move on to the third match. I'm going back with the Atlanta Hawks. I haven't really played with this team a lot this year. I did in 2K21. I really liked the plays that they ran and the team that they had, so I decided to go with them in tier 2. I really don't have a go-to team this year for specific tiers, really, except for like maybe the Milwaukee Bucks, but now that's kind of changing to the 16-17 Golden State Warriors because they're so good on this game. But first play out the gate, pretty good. Kevin Huerter can't hit that 3-point shot, and my opponent has like, I think that's the 11-12 Clippers, or I know this Clippers team. I don't know what year they are, but I've been seeing this team for a while, man. Guys used to go crazy with this team back in the older versions of 2K, like especially when they used to run a 2-3 zone with this team. It used to be ridiculous, man. And this team is constructed perfectly in their starting 5, but when you get to the bench, it's going to be a little bit difficult playing with them. So if you have someone who knows how to play with this team, they could definitely do damage here in this year 2K. And my opponent definitely did damage. So 13-14 Los Angeles Clippers. And I always kind of get a bit nervous when I go up against this team because no one picks this team for no particular reason. If you're going to pick this 13-14 Los Angeles Clippers team, you know something that a majority of 2K players don't, because this team, if you play with them and you watch like YouTube videos on how to play with this team, or you practice playing with this team, like I said, they could be deadly. This is a very good team, especially with the starting 5, and I have to be a little bit nervous, or not nervous, but I have to be a bit cautious playing this guy, because this is a team that is not often chose, but they're like a sleeper team, and whenever someone uses this team, they know how to play 2K most of the time. So let's get back onto the game now. 8-13. I'm doing pretty good. I'm shooting the ball. Trae Young hasn't really got involved yet off of that, aside from that 3-pointer where he had the steal, but that's really it. I just try to come out in my game plan and just play basketball, man. But you can see my opponent, he's still hanging in there. We're gonna move through this game pretty quickly. So the score is 22-22. First half winding down. So in my head, I'm like, okay, let's take this clock all the way down so I can get the last shot, or a good last shot. So now let's run a pick and fade with Danilo Gallinari for a 3, and that one is good. That's the first time in a long time that pick and fade has worked so beautifully there. So 25-22, second half beginning. This was a back and forth game, a very defensive game. Like I said, this Clippers team, they're good. Their offense might struggle at times, but the defense that this team plays is good. And like I said, when you get in this league, it's going to come down to rebound. Look at DeAndre Jordan, I almost called him Andre Drummond. Gets 2 offensive rebounds, and that's what is going to hurt us, man, especially when we're playing a close game like this. But like I said, when we get on this fast break offense, I have to take advantage of the opportunities I get. Kevin Huerter, quick trigger, I have to pull that. So my opponent goes back to the menu, and I have to give props to him on this, because this was a guy who actually made changes and adjusted to what I was doing. Like, at first he wasn't playing aggressive defense, he wasn't smothering me, or he wasn't denying the ball for me, but you know, this guy is really smart. He went into the set-ins, had everything, and the only time I really capitalized was on fast break opportunities where his guys couldn't get in good defensive position. So Clint Capella, don't know why he didn't catch it there. We were able to get it back. Trae Young, let's go ahead and take the lead back. This is a very tight and intense game, man. Less than 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. And I don't know what in the world Kevin Huerter is doing, but you cannot leave JJ Redick open like that. That was ridiculous, man. So now, offense for us. Danilo Gallinari backing down Chris Paul. You know, he did a lot of that reaching when I was down low and I got the mismatch against Chris Paul, and he was getting the steals a lot of the times, man. It was kind of crazy. You see here, did the same exact thing against Clint Capella, and that was kind of frustrating to play against. And this was his workhorse right here, Blake Griffin. I fouled him. I didn't feel confident that he was going to make two, but he did make me pay for that. So now, 39-38, less than 2 minutes remaining. I'm down by 1 point. 1 point. My opponent is in the bonus. Trae Young finds Clint Capella, throwing it down, cocking it back, almost got blocked. Next time, just go for it, two hands. Or next time, just do a simple dunk. But he goes right back down, caught us lacking with Matt Barnes, and takes the lead right back. Clint Capella. This was a guy who just got abused by DeAndre Jordan in this game, and Blake Griffin makes us pay down the other end of the court, and we ended up losing this game. Like I said, props to my opponent. He really made adjustments to my offense, and usually guys don't do that, and he was rewarded with the victory. So that's going to be it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. I may live stream the next time I play 2K, but we'll see, and I'll schedule it. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.